Alrighty, so as I mentioned in the previous video, this section is a big turning point, and hopefully you're excited about it. I'm excited to teach it. We're going to go from what we've been doing for the last 12, 13-ish hours of content, basically working with MySQL on its own, querying a database, and getting a result printed back to us immediately, which is great. But we're going to go from that to creating applications with MySQL. We're not going to learn how to create complex video games or crazy iOS apps. We're focusing mainly on web applications, but the ideas are the same. I'm going to show you how you get an external language like JavaScript or PHP or Ruby to talk to MySQL, and we'll build a couple things with that. Now, let's quickly review what we've done, not the entire course, but the way we've been working, and talk about the merits of that. So we've been working with the CLI mainly, having a database of users or books or whatever it is, and asking questions, selecting sales data or orders data or customers, and trying to figure things out like, how much did we sell last week, or what day of the week was our best selling day across the last 2 years. Those are really important and valid and just common uses of MySQL. So there is this whole subset of creating applications that we're diving into now, but there are tons and tons of jobs, lots of people who, when they work with MySQL, all that they do, not to diminish it in any way, because they can write some pretty complex queries, but they're working with only MySQL, and they're opening up the CLI, or they're writing SQL files like we've seen, and they're just saving and running those files. So they want to see, okay, what was my commission that I made in the last year? Calculating tax, whatever information, summing a bunch of information in these tables, or doing a complex join to figure out which promotion worked the best. Those are really important and common uses that people do all the time. So it's not just about building applications, but we've seen that first part. We've seen how to do that. We've worked with tables. We've been writing lots of selects, inserts, updates, deletes, all of that. Now we're going to see how we work with other languages. So now it's time for MySQL plus any of these. Pick one. And the reason I'm even showing you this page is not to intimidate you, not to make you think you need to know all of these. You only need one. So depending on what you're doing, there are strengths and disadvantages to certain languages, but really all of these will work. They all have ways of communicating with MySQL. So if you're someone who is comfortable with a language, like if you grew up working with Java, or you took a Python class in college, or whatever it is, you can find ways, I'll talk about what they are, of connecting MySQL and whatever language you're comfortable with. The one we're going to work with is called Node, Node.js. It's getting very, very popular. It's been pretty popular for the last couple of years. Very versatile language, lots and lots of users, great documentation out there. Now, we could have also gone with PHP. Some of you may be wondering about that. PHP and MySQL historically have been a bit of an item, a couple that were spotted together all the time. In the next video, I will talk a bit about PHP. It's totally optional, but I didn't want to bog you down in this video with it. But there are a lot of opinions out there. I'll give you a 10-second preview. A lot of people think PHP is dying. It's certainly in decline compared to where it used to be. It used to be the king of programming languages on the web. Now there are lots of competitors, and people are leaving PHP. That doesn't mean that it's a bad language. There are problems with it. This is my opinion as well. There are problems that other languages have been able to solve better. However, there's a big user base out there. Yes, it's not growing as fast every year, but there are still millions of people using it. So do not shy away from PHP if you're comfortable with it. If you want to use it, there's lots of examples out there. But I didn't want to make this course just another PHP and MySQL course. There are dozens. They're getting dated, but there are dozens of them, even on Udemy. Lots of MySQL and PHP. So I chose Node, and I'll talk more about why in this optional video coming up. Basically, JavaScript is the most popular programming language for the web right now, and Node uses JavaScript syntax. And just generally, Node is a great choice. And I could have gone with any of these, although I probably wouldn't have done any of the C languages, but Ruby or Python would have been equally good choices. However, I went with Node because, honestly, that's what people want to learn right now, and it's what a lot of the jobs out there are for. Okay, so that's all I'll say about that for now. Like I said, any of these will work. The next thing I want to talk about is how do they work? What do they do? So we pick a language. We're working with Node, but then what? What's the point of using a programming language, how does it talk to MySQL through external code, and what kinds of things would you do? So here's a little diagram. Imagine that there's a web application. My computer, when I go to, this is hypothetical, Amazon.com, I hit enter. A request is made, and I labeled this as Node.js. Amazon does have some Node in their stack, but this could be any language, so that doesn't matter. But I send a request. Hey, Amazon, can you give me your homepage? Or can you give me my personal profile page? I want to update my email address. How about that? And then the code, whatever it's written in, is going to talk to MySQL. It's going to say, hey, MySQL, this user with the email of colt@gmail.com is trying to get his profile page. I want to select all information related to select everything from users where email is colt@gmail.com. That query is run, so from Node or whatever this is here to MySQL, and a result comes back. And it could be, I'm sorry, there's no users table. I don't know what the heck you're talking about, Node. Or it could be, okay, here's the 5 items in that row about Colt. And then that comes back. So that's kind of this two-way street. And then whatever the programming language is here is then going to compile whatever's sent to me. So the Amazon homepage. So it's going to take all those results and it's going to build a web page for me and send it back. Now, this is not a course on web development. I have another video where we talk about what this course is and isn't, and how I'm going to go about covering things like HTML and CSS. I'm going to cover them, but not in a ton of detail because could take hours. I have a 45-hour course on that content. So this is really more focused on the MySQL part of things, which makes sense. It's a MySQL course. Okay, so with that said, I missed the last arrow. Something is sent back to a computer. So it's this cycle where there's kind of 3 entities. There's a device over here, my computer. It could be an iPhone or Android phone. It could be, I don't know, it could be a smoke detector. It could be a Nest camera, if you have ever seen Nest cameras or any like web-based security camera. I'm not saying they work with Node and MySQL, but there's some database somewhere storing information, and there's some app somewhere running that is listening, that's getting videos sent back or updates from a smoke alarm. Or it could be a virtual reality headset. It could be anything really, any sort of device, another computer, a phone, something else. And then this here, like I said, doesn't have to be Node. That's what we're working with. But you could easily replace that with another language, PHP or Ruby. And then, yes, you could have a different database, but that's not what this course is about. But you could, have a virtual reality headset that's working with Ruby, although that's not a great game development environment. Maybe you're working with Unity and you're writing Java or something, but then you're working with another database. It could be anything, MongoDB, Postgres, or MySQL. The core idea is the same. Okay, so that was a lot of talking. Like I said, there's an optional video coming up about PHP versus Node and other languages. It's mainly my opinions, but there is some interesting data to take a look at. If you're curious about how I came to the conclusion I came to, I spent a lot of time thinking about how to teach this. And what I'd like to do is add kind of alternate versions of what we're going to build here and build a Ruby version so you can see it, and then build a PHP version and build a Java version so you can compare it. But that will come later. This is, I made a decision, and it's an informed decision, and I'll explain why if you're curious in the next video. And then after that, or you can skip right to the next video, which is going to be introducing the project we're going to build.